Okay, yesterday we started discussing the concept of Rosh Chodesh, and now one more detail. Now, in order, which is coming to what we're learning now, why we have Shabbos Mevarchim, but Bais Din had to say Mekudesh, and the people, when the witnesses came in the morning, they testified they saw the moon. So Bais Din and the people around them would say Mekudesh, 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 which means the moon was sanctified. Now, in order to do that, you had to have smuchim, not today smicha. Smicha ish mipi ish from Moshe Rabbeinu. And it had to be dafka that the yonim of Eretz Yisrael, unless, like the Gemara says, one time Rabbi Kiva was in Chutz La'aretz and nobody was as great as Rabbi Kiva in Eretz Yisrael, so he did it. But normally, you need a Bais Din to sanctify the month. So how do we have that today? We don't have smuchim today. So like we said yesterday, Hillel's grandson Hillel, when he set up the calendar the 19-year cycle, so the Pasuk right, he was Mekadesh all the Rosh Chodashim for all years to come. So he already did Mekudesh for all future generations. That's what the Pasuk write, that's what he did. So now, what do we do? Why do we have Shabbos Mevarchim? Shabbos Mevarchim, we basically bless the new month. Why do we bless the new month? So it's first of all to remind us of what the Bais Din used to do in the olden days. He used to say Mekudesh, So secondly, people don't come to shul during the week. Shabbos, everybody's in shul. So you want to tell people they should know when Rosh Chodesh is. There's laws, davening is different. There's laws of Yalav V'Yovei, what you're allowed to do, what you're not allowed to do on Rosh Chodesh. So basically, they did it on Shabbos that people should know when exactly Rosh Chodesh is, that they should do it properly. Okay.
When we say Mevarchim moon, we bless the moon, or
we don't bless. Kiddush HaChedesh means we sanctify the moon. Huh?
Moon doesn't need our sanctification.
It means because the Jews go by the moon, so we're saying a bracha thanking Hashem for giving us the lunar calendar with the moon and everything in it. Correct. What?
Rob mentioned that the Mevarchim makes the comment about Hillel's son.
Grandson.
Grandson. Is that in Gemara? Is that by going or?
The ones that actually did it, I'll tell you in a second who did it. They bring it down the whole thing with the Magen Avraham. 1 second. Okay, here. They bring down here that he was Mikair. It says that who says it? The Machzis Shekel brings it down, and it's brought down in a lot of poskim and halacha that he was the one. Machzis Shekel in the commentary in Shulchan Aruch says that Hillel was the one that did it for all times. In fact, we'll, as we continue. So people should remember the concept of Kiddush HaChedesh, the Bais Din was Mekadesh the month, and therefore we announce it on Shabbos. Pashut people should know when Rosh Chodesh is. Okay, even though, like we said, Hillel did it, but we want everybody to keep doing it. What?
Is this the same bracha? Is this the same mitzvah that Hashem said to the Yidden to do right after Kriyas Yamsuf?
No, this mitzvah was told to them in Mitzrayim before Makas B'Cheres. HaChedesh is Alachem Rosh Chodashim was before Makas B'Cheres.
So what's the one that is right after they come back?
Right after Kriyas Yamsuf?
Yeah.
No, it came to Mother. They were given Shabbos, Dinim, Paraduma. But the Kiddush HaChedesh was given to them yet in Mitzrayim. Okay, so then, now it's brought down, the Magen Avram brings down an interesting thing, that when you do Kiddush HaChedesh, Shabbos, when you bench Chedesh, you should stand. And he says, why? Because the people used to stand when Bais Din was Mekadesh to Chedesh. So again, this is in remembrance of that. So it brings down over here, but Kiveg, a lot of the Mevarchim ask the Magen Avram, it's not true. Because the Gemara says, Bais Din sat, and the people stood and said Mekudesh. Bais Din said Mekudesh, Mekudesh, and the people said Mekudesh. But Bais Din sat, so they bring down the fact that the people stood, so that's why we stand also when we do Kiddush HaChedesh. Okay, next. Okay, the Chazan takes the Sefer Torah in the sand, or somebody else holds it for him when they do Berachas HaChedesh. It's also appropriate, before you do, say which day is Rosh Chodesh, to know the Moiled of the Levana. The Moiled of Levana is it's called the birth of the moon, when the moon becomes visible again. Now there's an exact time, 29 days, the Rambam says exactly, I remember the exact cheshbon now, but the Rambam says that between one Moiled and the next Moiled, you can already for all generations, because it's exactly 29 hours and X amount of minutes and seconds and halachic.
29 days.
29 days, but plus it's 29 and a half days, X amount of hours, X amount of minutes, X amount of halachic. Okay, just this, so it's proper to know it before you.
What's the purpose of holding a Sefer Torah?
They just bring it down. The Shari'im brings it down. That's what you do it. I mean, again, it's the chshivas of Bais Din, so you want to make it more official. What?
This is based on Israel or based on the Molad?
The Molad is based on Eretz Yisrael. They started writing it now in the law of Chabad. They started writing the last few years that the Molad they give is based on Eretz Yisrael. Okay, so it's interesting because sometimes when you announce the Molad, what's going to be in Eretz Yisrael, that happened already. And the truth of the matter is also people are not machmer in this, but technically the end of Kiddush Levana, the last time you could do Kiddush Levana, is also based on Israeli time. But liberal people, they'll still do it the last night. But it's possible that you wouldn't be able to do it. What?
So the calculation that Hillel's grandson made, that included all of the second of base and also like the
Everything, when exactly you have a leap year, when you have 2 days of Rosh Chodesh, 1 day of Rosh Chodesh, is all figured out in a systematic calendar.
Is there a record of what he wrote?
Yeah, I mean, they have the law that he wrote. Not in his handwriting, but I'm saying, yeah, he wrote the whole thing. It's based on a 19-year cycle, but based on that 19-year cycle, he can go on forever with it. Okay, now many people, Nusach Ashkenaz has it, they say before they do Rosh Chodesh benching, they say Yiratzim Lefanecha. Should bless the month with this and that, all good things. So a lot of poskim, it's not our minute to say it. A lot of poskim, or the Chashulchan, a lot of other poskim say we don't say it, because on Shabbos you're not allowed to ask personal requests unless if it's part of the actual davening that the Anshi Knesset Hagdela established. But to add on later things of personal requests in Shabbos, you're not allowed to. So in our minute, the Rebbe writes, he always wondered how in the world people say it. And the Aruch HaShulchan says the same thing, that you can do it. Okay, now when you bench Rosh Chodesh, that week you don't say Mevarchim, because it's a little Yom Tif, and except when you bench Rosh Chodesh Sivan, because of all the problems that happened during Sfiras Ha'omer and later on in history, so we say it. Okay, now there's an interesting thing. Our custom is that we say the whole Tillim Shabbos morning, Shabbos Mevarchim. It's brought down, the Rebbe writes, in the Takone, it's printed in the Tillim, that in the institution that the previous Rebbe begged people throughout all types of people should say the whole Tillim Shabbos Mevarchim in the morning, he emphasizes it should be done b'tzibur. The Rebbe writes, not like the Spitz Chabad, meaning the holy Spitz, the holy guys that think they're holy in Chabad, the holy people, that you could say it by yourself and I have to learn Chassidus instead. Bottom line, the Rebbe says, Shabbos and Mevarchim, you need to say Tillim with a minyan. See, but it's good for your family, for the kids, for everybody itself. Now, so now the question is, somebody wrote to the Rebbe, he brings it down here, Shalom Levitov, I'm sorry. Asked the Rebbe, used to walk from Brownsville to 770, was a long walk. And the Rebbe would verbring Shabbos and Mevarchim. So he asked the Rebbe, I don't have a chance to say Tillim, I'm walking like an hour and a half, and then davening in the I don't have time to say the whole Tillim. So the Rebbe answered him that number one, you could say Tillim while you're walking. Those Perakim you say by heart. The Rebbe said to him, it doesn't have to be necessarily in order. You don't have to say Tillim in order, as long as you say all the chapters of Tillim. And then the Rebbe said, there's enough, and then the Rebbe told him between Siches, when they were singing, you could say Tillim. And the Rebbe said to him, generally speaking, you have about 24 hours, there's plenty of time to say Tillim. But it's interesting, I personally, it's a personal story, I didn't even know about it until about a year or two ago, that one of my cousins happened to tell me that the Rebbe told my mother that she could say Tillim Shabbos and Mevarchim Friday night. I personally didn't hear the story, I checked it out. My brother's, he said, what do you mean? Of course. So the Rebbe did tell my mother that she could start saying Tillim, because she asked the Rebbe if she doesn't have, it takes a long time to say Tillim. So the Rebbe told her she could start Friday night saying Tillim Shabbos and Mevarchim. But the Rebbe said this to Moshe Levitov also, Shalom Levitov, I'm sorry. And the Rebbe said that if there's an oval, you say Kaddish between each Sefer. If not, you say Kaddish at the end, if there's a Chiyuv. But then you have the Hirotzin that you say between the 5 Svarim, each one there's a Hirotzin and back, so Sefer Rishon, Keneged Bereishis, all that. So the Rebbe writes, if somebody's saying Kaddish, the guy that says Kaddish, at least he should say that Yehirotzen to separate between one book of Tillim and the next book of Tillim. But people that are not saying Kaddish don't necessarily have to say it. The Yehirotzen between the Perakim of Tillim. And this I saw myself many, many times. If the Rebbe would say Kaddish for every reason that Shabbos, we saw the Rebbe would say the Yehirotzen in the back. If he didn't say Kaddish, he didn't say Yehirotzen in the back. Because we saw it, because when he was saying Tillim, we used to watch, no? So he was saying Tillim, so when he came to the end of the Sefer, he would turn to the back of the Tillim and say the Yehirotzen. And when he didn't say Kaddish, he didn't turn to the back to say, so obviously he didn't say it. What?
I heard at one point that you should not say Tehillim at night.
Correct. The exception that is Friday night, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur. Kabbalistically, it's not only Tillim. According to Kabbalah, it says, how did Moshe Rabbeinu on Har Sinai? He was there 40 days and 40 nights. So how did he know which one was day and which one was night? There's no time up there. So it says, when they learned Torah Shebiksav, he knew it was day, and they learned Torah Shebal Peh, he knew it was night. So according to Kabbalah, you're not supposed to say Torah Shebiksav, not only Tillim. According to Kabbalah, you're not supposed to say Torah Shebiksav at night. That means if you learn Chumash by itself, just reading Chumash you should, reading Tillim you should. Now there's exceptions. Somebody, God forbid, is sick. You want to say Tillim, that's a different story. But generally speaking, you should not say Chumash, Torah Nevi'im and Ksuvim, Torah Shebiksav by night. After Tzeisa Kachavim, until after halachic midnight. Well, one second. That you don't b'chlal, you don't say. Now, if you're learning Chumash and Rashi, so because you're learning Rashi, so that's what? Now, if somebody would ask a shaila, and I'll take this upon myself, that is it, I can't say Tillim at night, so I'll watch television instead. So if there's a shaila to watch television or say Tillim at night, I promise you, the Arizal would say you should say Tillim better at night than do other things that you shouldn't be doing. So it's like it says in Kabbalah also, you shouldn't give tzedakah at night. Because tzedakah is chesed. Day is chesed, Laila night is gvura, according to Kabbalah. But the Rebbe told the story many times by Fabrengen, this before he was Rebbe, he once gave tzedakah at night to a poor person. By the way, that doesn't mean if somebody asks you tzedakah, you have to give it at night. Just, you don't give tzedakah at night, generally speaking. So the Rebbe said, the Rebbe told a story about what happened with him before he was Rebbe. He gave tzedakah to somebody at night. And the guy came over to him and screamed at him, why are you giving tzedakah? You don't give tzedakah at night. Okay? So the Rebbe said, it bothered me. He went into his father-in-law, the previous Rebbe, and he told him what happened. That he gave tzedakah at night and the guy screamed at him. So the Frierdiker Rebbe smiled and he said to him, it seems that the guy that screamed at you doesn't give tzedakah during the day either. That's what he said. So that's why he screamed at you, because he doesn't, because in simple English, this should be the worst thing. They once caught a great tzaddik learning on Tisha B'Av. When it says you're not allowed to learn regular things, they call him learning regular things on Tisha B'Av. So he said, you're learning on Tisha B'Av, you're not allowed to. He said, listen, when I come up after 120 years, they're going to whip me for a lot of things I did wrong. He said, let them whip me for learning Torah. It's okay, I'll handle it.